y'all. Hey, you are watching and listening to Lex.Between the Lines. And of course, I am Lex. Let's get into these trigger warnings. First thing I'm going to say is I try to stay in between the lines. Sometimes, just sometimes, I occasionally cross them. My mouth is foul, so there will be explicit language. There will be talk of sexual content
Ooh.
because we like the spice and we like the smut.
Yeah.
So take that as you will. And if you are still with us and you are into it, then we're going to go ahead and get to our co host. I'm so excited. I am going to let them introduce themselves. So we're going to start with.
Hi guys, my name is SK Presley. I am one of these beautiful three co-hosts here, and I've got three books out. I'm going to start with the most recent and work my way backwards because we are here for Lola Unmasked Part 1. She's purple, she's beautiful, she's thick,
She's
she's
giving.
got flowers, she's giving, she's giving. So it's Lola Unmasked, and then we have The Pain We Nurture. I know it's a little shine, I'm sorry. But The Pain We Nurture is about a beautiful redhead who enters into a sexual contract with her billionaire. What would you call him, Ashley? A benefactor?
Um, yeah,
Here's
because
the pain we
client doesn't
allow.
cut it.
I love a bill. So it's a billionaire romance.
It's a
Oh,
billionaire romance,
it
yes.
is.
And it's a 50 Shades of Grey meets Good Girls. You know Good Girls with Rio and Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yes, I based Rio and
And he,
Elizabeth
oh yeah,
off
he
of
gives
I
very
based them
get
off
in
of
the car, Elizabeth
yes, get in the
energy.
car, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Yes.
he gives that
Yes.
very much that energy.
Definitely bumping it up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And but we're here for this beautiful girl here,
Yep.
Lola Unmasked. And so I only have the three pieces of work, but Lola Unmasked is just one of three. So over the course of probably around 9 or 10 months, I'm going to be releasing the other two. And then I have more books coming out. I have at least three more books written, like completely written, ready to go. So
I'm just excited right now because not only is there one more book coming, but there's two more books coming.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, and I have to tell you why, though. I have to tell you why. I want Ashley to introduce herself
No,
real
go ahead
quick
and
because she's a
finish.
beautiful. Okay,
I'm waiting.
yeah, y'all, because Lola Unmasked one was actually just Lola Unmasked. There wasn't three parts to it. And then I started talking with one of my beautiful beta readers. I call her Mama T. She's like a second mama to me. I met her here on TikTok, and we've just gotten so close. And she was like, I love Frank. Frank is a character in here. He's an older guy, about 70, 71 years old. Wonderful neighbor. Everybody needs a Frank. She was so enraptured by Frank, and other people started talking about Frank and how much they love the story. And I'm like, okay, so it was just so much condensed into the first book that I was like, okay, let me give you a book two. And then book two, it just wasn't like their story wasn't done. And people wanted more Frank. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give you more Frank. So Frank, the elderly neighbor, gets a whole love triangle in the third
Yes,
book.
Frank gets you
And
get
yes,
more of Frank.
you
Not
Literally,
get
old
more
man
get
Frank.
Frank.
more
Old
of
man
Frank.
Frank. Yep.
You're gonna get
Old
more
man
of
Frank.
Frank.
Yes, you do. Because when I got into writing, I said I wanted representation for all. And I really meant that. I want to represent people of all colors, people of all ethnicities and cultures, and even ages. Like, you have people who are in their like 70s and 80s and 90s who love reading smut books, but they can't see themselves represented in these books because
Hmm.
everybody writes characters that are like 18, 19, maybe up to 24, 25, 26. You don't really see women, especially women. You don't really see women who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s depicted in these books. And so I was like, I'm gonna do my little bit. I know I'm just a small fish in this little itty bitty pond, right? But
We not a small fish.
okay, big
What?
fish. I'm a big fish. I'm a big fish. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, in this pond, but I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure that whenever anybody reads my books, that they can say, you know what, Grandma, I have a book I think you might love, or to their niece or to their whoever, their coworker, whoever. I really want people to be able to see like themselves in any book that they pick up. Like there's got to be a piece of work that I put out where people can read and they can go, oh man, like I see myself in them. Like that was really important to me. So
That's going to bring me to one of my questions. I'm going to let Ashley introduce herself, and that's going to bring me
Yeah.
into my first question that I want to ask.
okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm just very happy to be on this lovely panel, if I can call it that. I am Miss SK Presley's beta and arc manager. I am also one of her friends. Like literally, we talk every day,
Mm-hmm.
all day long, just all day long. And I am also what I like to call a baby author because I'm starting to write. And that's because this person right here got sick of me giving her all my suggestions and said, hey, why don't you write them
Mm-hmm.
yourself? I mean,
Yep.
she was more gentle about it, but pretty much that's what she told me. So I am embarking on my uh first book. And even though I am not complete, I have like another one coming off because talking to SK, who is my writing mentor, uh, we actually we actually figured out the end of the book, and because she is a cliffhanger queen, it's a cliffhanger. It's a doozy. It is, and it
It's
is
a
a doozy.
doozy. It is
It's
a
a
doozy.
doozy. I think
Yeah.
I've only told one other person, and they were like, "Dude, I'm ready for you to write that book now. You haven't even finished writing the book." I said,
Yeah.
"Girl, it's gonna be a doozy."
Ashley, I just
So,
want you to know that I done already penciled you in so that I can go ahead.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
this is
trust
where
me,
I need to step in and say, ma'am, you have a goal for getting that book done by your birthday. So,
I
Lexi,
do.
pencil her
I do.
in for the fall of next year because she
Hmm.
will be done.
I will be done, and I am getting it done, and I try to every. What I love her because she keeps me. She even gave me a book cover. So she was like, here's a book cover, and we happen to find the perfect cover
Yeah.
for my book.
How did
Yeah.
y'all find each other? Did y'all find each other on TikTok
Oh,
or?
that's what I okay, so yeah, we found each other on TikTok. The first book she the first book she showed, well, it's a second book.
This one.
The Pain We Nurture.
Mhm.
She was looking for beta readers. I was new to the whole book talk. Like I had done a few videos. I had mostly played around with it, but I had just gotten to the point, I would lip sync a lot where, I find sounds and I would do it and maybe add a book to it. But then I got to the point that I started saying, um, what I like or giving a little more details into books because I realized we all, especially on BookTok, if you have a library, a TBR, you have these long TBRs and you don't
Yes.
get to them because when you read the back of the book, it's detailed, but sometimes you need just a little bit more to make you want to pick that book up. And so
Mhm.
I had done that with multiple books where I'm like, why waited so long to start reading this book? And I said, if I need that, maybe other people need that. So I started doing that. And I happened to see a video where an author was saying, hey, I need ARC readers and everything like that. And I was like, well, what is an ARC reader? And I don't really know what an ARC reader is, but I was like, I'll read your book, no problem. So I ended up like Jesse sliding in your DMs and was like, I'll read your
Yes.
book. And she was like, okay. And so she was like, here you go, send me all the stuff, the EPUB, and was like, I'm still writing it. Like I thought the book was already out. And she was like,
She
no,
was
I'm
still
still
writing the
writing
book
it.
when she sent it to you.
Yes, when she sent it to me, she was like, I'm still writing it. And so she's like, things might change. So then I started reading this book. And from chapter one, she's the reason why now I have to make sure my chapter one catches you because, I'm a mood reader. So if chapter one doesn't catch me, I'm like, oh, we'll put this down for later. So chapter one caught me, and I was like, I need to know more about Colin and Olivia. So then I was reading, I was reading, I was reading. And what most people don't know is with the pain we nurture and the pain we allow, when she started writing it, the first part of the pain we nurture had a different ending.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
much longer. So I had read things and it left off at a certain point, and I was happy because I was like, I can't, you can end the book. I think I told her, I'm so glad you didn't end the book at this particular point. And she said, yeah, she's, I don't think I could have done that. And then she had to come back and change it and then end up ending it at the point that I was like, oh, they're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
it
like,
ends. It
the
ends.
way that I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're gonna kill you.
I
So it's a
cried.
duo? Is it it's a
It's a
duo?
duo. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
duo.
And I was like, they're
I
gonna kill
cried
you.
because it was a publishing thing. Amazon would not let me publish it at that size, and it was the only other spot like within that towards the end of the book
It
that I could
made
make
sense,
work.
but I was like,
Yeah.
nah.
Wait, when you
Yeah.
said Amazon wouldn't let you publish it because of the size, what do you mean?
So there's like size and formatting, like, so you have to have a specific page number for like your size book and the formatting and everything, and you can't
Mhm.
go above that. You can't go above it. And they had like just recently changed for my size book how many pages you could have, and it wasn't working. Like I couldn't change the size, and so I had to leave it the way it was, and then just take like, I think it was the last 4 chapters, I had to move it into the second book. Yeah, but it ended up working out, but I was really upset over it because I am so particular about how I want my books to read, about how I want like sentence structure and sentence placement and everything. I'm very, very particular. So I really structured my book just around like about 3 or 4 main scenes, and that last scene that I had to like take out and put into the second book, I feel like messed up like my flow, I guess. And so it made it a little difficult for me to write the second book because then I felt like I had to move some things around in the second book. But anyway, it ended up working out fine. But when people read that first book, they're like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? What are you
Yeah, and
thinking?
it was
Why
like,
would you do that? Are you a messed
here's
up
the
human being?
thing.
You know?
Here's the thing, it was so
Yeah.
funny because by this time, so we ended up talking, like we just end up talking back and forth on TikTok about that. I did my video and I said, oh, this is my first arc. So then she was like, oh, this is your first arc. And so we're talking back and forth and back and forth. And the thing that Sarah doesn't tell you is, you know how some people say, oh, this is a duet or it has 3 books. By the time she releases the first book, she has pretty much written all the books. This is not normal for most authors.
Yeah. Yeah,
So she's
I've got
got
about 9 books written, and I only
already
have
written.
3 out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, when
And
you wrote Lola, and first of all, I didn't know it was gonna be a second, but when I finished, like when I got to the end, I kept on saying like at 90%, I'm like, there's no resolution. There's
yeah,
no
it's like
resolution.
it can't end like this.
And then I'm like a few pages left, and I'm like, it's too much shit going on. So how we about to do this? Then the ending, I curse you
Yeah.
you
I
piss me the
know.
fuck
Yes,
off.
I
yes,
know.
yes.
Do you know how many people, especially when they got to like certain chapters, and there's 2 characters in this book that you don't expect to pop up with a chapter. And I have had people like get a hold of me on Instagram, get a hold of me on
Yeah,
like on
yeah.
TikTok, like leaving me voice messages like on there crying. Like I'm literally hearing people crying. They're like, I just got to chapter, 16, and I'm just like, oh fuck. I'm sorry.
But
I'm
are you
sorry.
though? Are you though? Because I feel like you're not.
I feel like she's not. And I got to the end, and then I
Yeah.
thought about it because I didn't realize that you had sent me an arc.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And so I went to go and look I said, this fucking book ain't even out yet. What the fuck? I said, I gotta, because people be sending me stuff a lot. So I didn't realize that the book, and then when I went back and read the message, because I be excited when let me tell y'all something. I get so excited when authors reach out to me. Y'all be making me
Mhm.
feel like I'm the shit. Cause like, what?
You
You took your
are.
time
You
and
are.
you thought of me to send this to me? And I
Yeah.
automatically bumped it, like stopped what I was reading, and I downloaded it, started reading it. And so when I got to the end, and then I went on Kindle, and I was like, what the
It's not
fuck?
there.
I
It's
was
not
like, it ain't even on
there.
Kindle. So I went back to the message, and I had actually messaged you like, and I had did a video like, where the fuck is part two? And then I went
Mhm.
back, and then I was like, this shit ain't even out yet.
I know.
Yes,
I know.
girl.
I know. Yeah.
And one thing about me is I'm gonna beg, and so
She was like,
I was like, can I get book two? Cause what?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it was with. Now imagine that, but just a little bit worse, and
Wait, it
that's
was
how.
worse.
Yeah,
And the
girl,
pain we
yes.
nurture.
And the
Yeah.
pain we
Yeah.
nurture. And so she was like, how long should I wait? I was like, you should not wait that long at all. Because they're going to be ready to come get you. First of all, you ended on
Yeah.
a cliffhanger. And that's already a sore spot for people. But you ended on
Hmm.
that cliffhanger? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It was pretty
Mm-mm.
bad. It
Now
was
I'm finna
pretty
go
bad.
bump. Now I'm finna go bump this up. I got a few arcs,
Mm.
and I got a alpha and a beta read. But it's not gonna take me long with those at all. But I'm finna bump this up because you said it's worse than this cliffhanger on
Yes.
Lola.
Yes. It's
It's not
worse.
even a comparison.
It's
It's
not
Y'all
not.
got.
even.
I didn't really leave you guys on a cliffhanger in
She
Lola one,
didn't
to be
really.
honest.
Let me
I
tell you,
just
Yes,
you
you
have not.
I
did.
did
You
it.
have not.
I
You will
did
be
it,
like,
girl.
Sarah, you're like, where's your heart? Where you really,
Do you
really?
have
And
a
that's what I
heart?
told them. I told her, I said, let me tell you, the only reason I am calm right now is because I already know what's gonna happen. I said, for those who don't know what's gonna happen, I said, they're gonna kill you. I said,
Yeah,
they're
I
gonna
had
get
people. No, I
you.
had people threatening. I literally had people, like, probably more playfully, but I had
Yes.
people threatening to like find me.
Yeah, they
They
were
were like,
like,
if you
yeah,
don't get
because
book two out, yeah.
that's what shit. How long do I? Not that long at all. You don't leave
Yeah,
people
she was
on
like,
that kind of
no.
cliffhanger.
Mm-mm. It was bad. Yeah, it
Yeah, you
was.
should have
It
said
was.
something. I have had authors, I've read books where authors are like, I know, I left you on cliffhanger. I'm like, don't touch. Just the fact that you acknowledge it, don't make it better. You left me like this.
Right.
So,
I just want to rewind it because she said she did not leave us on the cliffhanger in
I
Lola.
yes,
didn't. I really didn't.
So,
Mm-mm.
do I need to reiterate where the door closed and old boy came in? Frank came in with a gun and he ended.
I
yeah,
know. I know. That's just a sneak peek into part two, though.
that really is. The sad
Part two,
part
part
is,
two, part two
this,
is wild. It
I
really
didn't
the
even
is.
sad
know that there
part
was a part.
is,
I didn't even know that there was a part two. This was before I knew there was a part two.
yeah,
Yeah.
she really
Yeah.
needs to put part two coming soon. But sometimes people do that just because they're like, okay, so yeah, yeah, she does it.
Part two
This
is
is
for
what she does.
pre-order. You can actually go pre-order part two right
Yeah,
now.
betas
Yeah.
are it's being beta read, and arcs will it come out after the 15th. We'll discuss that. I'm going
Yeah. I
to
don't have
get
an
yeah
official like arc release date because depending on what feedback I get from the beta readers, I'll like not rewrite, but I might change some things. It just depends.
yeah.
I'm
But
about
But
to go in right now and put in for my
yeah, don't
arc.
worry. Yeah, don't worry. I got look. I got you.
yeah, you got to
So
So
contact her. You got to contact
yeah,
her.
so I got you. We have a
On Presley
whole
Land Discord.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, we so I started off as her arc reader. Then I became her beta reader because she was like, "Oh, I have books." And when she said I have books, she always real casual. I have books. She was like 15 books. I have books. I'm like, okay. And then most recently, I know you've heard us talk about the King Dynasty, and I tell people
mm-hmm.
that's really near and dear to my heart because I alphabet. Literally, she spoon fed that to me every night. I joke with the beta readers now when I first started this that I said I get to tell you guys to check your emails. And for those who don't know, when Miss SK is feeding you a book, that's what she texts you. Check your email. So everything comes on
I
there,
do.
and I've literally read and talked through and everything like that. And she's good. She'll ask like, "Hey, does this flow? Does this make sense?" Blah blah
Mhm.
blah. So yeah, by the time you get art, you have gone through her going over it over and over again, rewriting it, us yelling at her and saying, "Why are you rewriting that? That was good."
Let me tell
Yeah.
you something. To be your alpha and beta readers
Yes.
are phenomenal because the book is like chef kits.
Yeah.
Thank
Like,
you.
and I
Thank
think that's
you.
so a lot of people don't know about alpha and beta readers and that they
Hmm.
are free, that you don't have to actually pay for them.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
that's
Mm-hmm.
look, no tea, no shade, but
Yeah, but you don't have to pay for them.
Yeah.
The only thing is, and that was one of the things we said to the beta readers is, I get you're excited about having the book, but we need you to be honest. You need to be
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
honest. Don't
And
just say, "Oh, it's good," because you're happy to have the book. Be honest. If this
yeah.
doesn't make sense, say, "Hey, this doesn't make sense."
And I have been on
Um,
some teams where I have given my feedback and
uh,
people have jumped down my throat and I'm like,
Yeah. No,
that's
I
the
ain't
part of
changing my
it.
no,
stance.
I
Yeah, that's the
love
part of
constructive
it.
criticism. I think me personally, I love it. So for Lola
Yeah.
1, I actually only had 3 beta readers. I had Tracy, I mentioned her earlier. I had Tracy, and I had Ashley, and I had Jessica. And those were my beta readers. And no one else had really read it until I was ready to give it to them, and then they got to read it. But as far as like people offering me like actual feedback and like really working with me on the book,
Mm-hmm.
um that was them. And when it came to like the editing process, I worked like almost exclusively with Tracy over making sure
Hmm.
like there was no typos, there was no like nothing. Like I wanted to make sure this book was as perfect as I could get it, because what happened with The Pain We Nurture, I'm not trying to like call out Amazon or nothing, okay? But what happened with The Pain We Nurture was I had it edited, and then I put The Pain We Nurture up, and then I ended up having to go in and change some things. But what you can only go in and change something like 22% of a book before Amazon like flags you, and then they like get rid of your book, or they make you re-upload it as a different book, and they get rid of all your reviews. It's almost like a whole new book. And I didn't want
Hmm.
to get dinged. It's my first book. I didn't want my account to get dinged, and then them telling me like, oh, you can't upload any books, because Amazon is really like nitpicky about stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
when I uploaded the second round, I accidentally uploaded an unedited version of this book. So there's going to be typos. There's like even a spot in this book where like the paragraph is in there twice. It's like crazy, but it still reads well. But this book right here, almost flawless, almost
Hmm.
flawless. And this book right here, flawless, except for Amazon's misprints. Let me tell you what happened, okay? It does not look like this whenever you format it and whenever you turn it in. But look, do you see that?
Are
First
those
three members.
chapters? Are those
Yeah,
Yeah,
chapters?
here's the
they don't
contents.
exist.
And then there's like like an extra empty
Hmm.
like chapter numbers with no chapters. It doesn't look like that whenever you upload it. Um, so I had to go back in and like re-upload it, and the hardback, it shouldn't print like this, but my first couple hardback books that I got the author copies for, it looks
Mm-hmm.
like that, and it
Hmm.
shouldn't look like that. So sometimes things are like Amazon's fault, and other times it really is our fault. But I'm going to be honest, I think most of the time when you see books that have like misprints and things like that, it really is Amazon.
Now, does Amazon correct it when they do things like this, or do they give you like a credit? Because I know they don't give you grace when they
They
like
don't
when
give you
stuff.
grace. Oh no, they don't
Hmm.
give you grace. Absolutely not. So what I usually end up doing is I just re-upload the manuscript, and then so when I got the orders again, it looked better. But now I'm just worried because sometimes they'll glitch. They'll glitch. Like when you order the Pain We Nurture, this is the OG cover, and I changed the OG cover to the new cover, and it took like months for they didn't even catch it. So it had been uploaded for months. But when people were ordering the Pain We Nurture, they would either it was a wash up on whether they would get the OG cover or whenever they would get the new cover. So Amazon was still printing the old cover too. Even though for months I still had like the new cover on there. It's insane. But I'm glad that, we have a platform to be able to self-publish, but man, I feel like they could treat us a lot better than what we're treated. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I hear so many stories of Amazon and them taking down reviews over small little errors and stuff.
Yes.
And that's another reason why I want to start the podcast and stuff, because I'm going to start reaching out to them to kind of bridge the gap on like, what can we do to save these author reviews to get them back so that people, because sometimes people do not go back and post the reviews like we ask, like you ask them to and stuff. So how
Yeah.
can we go back, or how can we work together to bridge those gaps and stuff so that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
beneficial for
Yeah.
both of us?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to wait just for a second. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back, and we are going to get into the questions for Lola Unmasked with Miss SK Presley.
Hey, tell them turn me up. We got something to say. What we doing? Same day loans up to 7K. What we doing? Affiliated. They know we don't play. Ain't nobody better. We gon' make them feel some type of way. Let's go. Hey, 1006 Winsboro Road. Checks cashed on the spot. Come get our bankroll. Over 30 years of experience. You know we cold. Coming up the net worth. Put your money in the right hands. Trust the experts. Affiliated. You get maximum refund for the minimum price. Can't beat that with a stick. It's not a deal. It's a lick. A lot of options, but it's up to you to pick. Let me talk to them. Look, over 15K in cash prizes, the smart and the wisest. 17 years in the same location. You know that mean dependable, Jack. You trying to get your money took or your money back? Come on, man, talk to me. Bring the music back. Hey, tell them turn me up. We got something to say. What we doing? Same day loans up to 7K. What we doing? Affiliated. They know we don't play. Ain't nobody better. We gon' make them feel some type of way. Let's go. Hey, tell them turn me up. We got something to say. What we doing? Same day loans up to 7K. What we doing? Affiliated. They know we don't play. Ain't nobody better. We gon' make them feel some type of way. Let's go. 1006 Winsboro Road. I see you there. Hey, tell them turn me.
Alrighty, so we are back from commercial break. Thank you guys for sticking with us and staying tuned. We are about to get into the questions for Miss SK Presley. The first one that I want to ask is what does the process of writing diverse characters look like within different age groups, ethnicities? What does that process look like? Or are the characters based off of people we know, or?
So not the characters aren't always based off of people we know. Sometimes I mean I take a lot of inspiration from books and TV shows and even other people. So I am a diverse. I'm a BIPOC. So I mean I write diversely. I told myself going into this into my author journey that I wanted to do representation for all. So as I release more works, you're going to see, you're going to see all different types of cultures. You're going to see different ages. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. And I never want my work to be stagnant. I always want the next body of work to be better and more diverse. I always want to put a little something in there that you wouldn't even expect. So, and the pain we nurture. So in this one,
Mhm.
my main male character's best friend is Muslim, and so we touch on it's not so much a tease, but like we touch on their brotherly banter and how the character, his name is Jonathan, always asks, "Is it halal?" Because he wants to make sure that everyone's like respecting his cultural preferences and maybe providing a little bit of education on what that is. I have a few Muslim friends myself, and they read a lot, and they tell me all the time we don't really get to read these types of books with us in them. So I try to like always make it to where if you pick up my book, Lexi, you'll see yourself somewhere. Same thing with Ashley. I mean, I wrote, so these first couple books, features Latina characters, but I also have African American characters in here that's going to get their own books. I mean, this series has a whole friendship group. And so we're going to touch on, Latina, we're going to touch on Caucasian, we're going to touch on Muslim, we're going to touch on African American. I mean, and that's just like within this one series, and
I have a
Lola's.
question. With all of these cultures, are you using like friends' point of views to create the characters? Are we researching, or how does
Yeah.
that process? What does that
It's a
process look
it's
like?
a mixture. It's a mixture of both. So I like to research, but then I also, if I have a friend who's in that culture, I also like to reach out to them and be like, hey, can you give me a more like personable, point of view on like what something like this would look like, or, can you read this to make sure that I am, I don't ever want to hurt anyone's feelings, by trying to help, represent. So I want to know, like, from your point of view, what does this look like? Is there something that I could change? Is there something that I can do different? Or is there something that I can do more? Can I put more of something? And and I always try to make sure that, I try not to do too much, like some characters can do too much. But I love when I do my character descriptions. I mean, I write, she has like, a beautiful ethnic nose, or, her hair texture is a certain way, or, her skin is a certain way, or she speaks a certain way. Like, is her accent thicker? Is it not thicker? I try to really give people, like when they envision my characters, I really want them to have something to pull from. I try not to make it super, super vague. I know there are other authors who, I'm sorry, my child is just doing a lot. Stop. Okay. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So I really do my best to try to like give you enough to like let you know, like, hey, like I am writing diversely, but I don't want it to be like this is the main focus. But I do want you to know, like, if the main character is Latina, like, I'm not just going to mention it like one time in the beginning. Like, there's going to be other things that like remind you, you know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes, I get that there are authors who, they purposely write very, like in a way to where you can picture yourself as the main character. And I understand that. And I completely respect authors who do that. I haven't done that so far in my work. That's not to say that I won't create a book where it's like, okay, I'll let you put yourself, like, we're going to be completely, unanimous. I'm not going to give too much, and you can put yourself into that character's shoes. But for me, part of the fun is like, I want to be able to pick up a book and be like, oh my gosh, there's a girl there with like wavy, curly hair, and she looks like me, and I want to see myself. You know what I mean? I want my daughter, I'm not necessarily my books, but I would like my daughter to pick up a book and see herself as the main character. I'm sorry, guys. I want her to be able to be like, oh my gosh, that main character, like, she's beautiful and loved, and she looks like me. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting representation in books at all. At all. So that's my process.
When you said you wanted your daughter to look, I was going to say, yeah, I was sure going to say, like, your book.
No, not in my book. No,
Nah,
not
not in her book. Nah.
Maybe when she's 60, 70, 80 years old, maybe.
Wait a minute now.
She said, when I'm no longer
Yeah.
around, then she
Yeah.
can read the book.
Yes.
Are any of your characters based off of like anyone, like your best friends, or anybody in your personal life, or they just come straight from? They just come to you.
So in Lola Unmasked, there's she has a neighbor who's like a grandfather figure. His name is Frank, and I completely based him off my dad. I mean, Mr. Presley is all in this book and in the next two books. So his characteristics, his traits, his mannerisms, the way he speaks, like, it's literally like my father regurgitated out onto the page. And sometimes my dad will say stuff, and I'll look at him and I'll be like, did you really just say it? Like, did you not hear yourself speak or something? Like, what are you even talking about right now? And he tries so hard, guys, but it just, so I really did my best to try to like implement, really implement that in Frank. And when I read the book, it really makes me think of my dad. And I'm a daddy's girl. I have a good relationship with him. So I like to see him represented in here. And as far as some of the other characters in here, I mean, I based, like for the Pain We Nurture and the Pain We Allow, I based the characters like off of Rio and Elizabeth off of Good Girls. So, I mean, I drew my inspiration off of that. Going forward with some of my other books, yeah, like I might have pulled traits from like certain people that I wanted, in there. But I don't want to say that I just specifically like said, oh, like I'm gonna look at Ashley. I'm gonna put Ashley in this book exactly like Ashley is. I haven't done that yet. I might later on in some books. But I think like I'm still so new to this. Like it's mostly just my imagination going, can this work? Will this work? Like, I don't know. Let me write it down and we'll see if it works. And so far, like people have been loving what they've been reading. So I hope I can keep it up.
I definitely been
So
loving what I've been reading.
yeah, so I'm gonna say something, and I just want you to understand that this comes from you, and you set me up for this. You open this door, and I'm gonna walk through it. So,
Okay.
Frank is based off of your dad, right?
Hmm.
So in book three, when you write that scene,
Wait,
honey,
Ashley, because you privy to some shit that we're not privy to. So we're not even finna talk about it. That's not what we about to do.
you wrote that about your dad. This is what you
I'm
No,
wrote
real
that.
jealous right now.
no.
I just want y'all to know that I'm real jealous right now because what?
Girl, if you read book 2, I'll give you book
The
3.
triangle, the
I'm still
triangle.
on book
Trust me.
one, and she talk about book three. But I
I know.
absolutely love Frank in book one,
Yeah.
and it was a there was a scene. I was like, Frank is nosy as fuck. How did he miss him
Yes.
creeping around the house? But then when you
Mhm.
rolled around and you said it, I said, I fucking knew he seen it. Why the hell you ain't saying that, Frank, when you seen this man creeping around this house and stuff? I guess he just know good people and he know good people.
That gets addressed. Yeah, that gets addressed in book 2. Because Hudson has a thought where he's like, I knew he knew I was out there. Like I knew he knew, but he just didn't say anything. And they never talk about it. That's the thing though. It's just like that kind of like understanding, that unspoken understanding that, two people can have. And it's like we don't got to talk about it, but we see each other. That's Frank and Hudson's relationship.
I had another question, but I want to know, where did Lola come from?
Okay, so I was scrolling on Pinterest and I saw this beautiful woman. I mean, beautiful. I'll send you the picture whenever we get done. I think you probably have seen the picture. You had to have because I put her in some of my TikTok videos. And I stopped, like literally dead stop. I was like, oh my God, base the whole character off of her. Don't even know what the woman's like or nothing, but just saw a picture of her and I was like, this is Lola.
Because I was like, this lady named Thina. Who the
So,
hell is Lola? Like, who the hell
so,
is Lola?
so, okay, let me tell you about being friends. This is being friends with SK. Is SK writing books and sending them to you, and then one day you get a phone call and it starts like this and goes, "Don't be mad at me," and I'm like, "What? What the hell? What did you do? What did you do that I would be mad at?" So I started a new book. I said, "Why would you think I would be mad at this?" She's
I
like, "I
do.
started a new book." And I'm like, okay, so what is it about? And then she starts saying, and she gets really excited, and you know, then it's out. Now it's
And now
out.
it's out.
Yeah.
And people love it, and I'm actually, and I don't know why, as I always say, I'm surprised because I really am. That I think there's always that fear as an author that you when you pour, I really poured my heart and soul, like my blood, sweat, and tears into this book, I'm telling you. And there's always that fear that people aren't going to like it. And it feels like, because it's your creation, it's like a baby, right? Like you spend all this time growing it and everything, and then you have to like remove it from yourself and give it to the world to like critique and to
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe not like, love, maybe not love, tear it apart. And there's always that fear, like, oh man, like I don't know if like somebody out here is gonna like hate it, or are they gonna take offense to it and I didn't mean it that way, or maybe they love it too much and I wind up like that author off of Misery. If anyone still knows what that
Stop.
movie is, after 30,
Stop.
40
Stop.
years. you know. But yeah, writing is just so, I mean, you really do tear a piece of your soul out and leave it in between the pages of a book. You really do.
That kind of answered my. I was gonna ask you, how do you disconnect from your characters? But it seems like you don't disconnect from. Look at
I
Ashley's
She does
don't.
like,
not.
I
She
don't.
does
I
not
don't.
disconnect from her
Mm-mm.
characters. That's why we
No.
have Presley Land. Presley Land is not just Discord. It is just her books. Because I don't know if it's okay to say or not, but she's going to connect all her books together. So
Yeah.
she's going to be a Presley line. You know that if
Oh,
you
it's
get
gonna
a
be like
book,
you're gonna do world building where the
yeah,
characters from.
where the
Yeah.
characters have
I
interacted
Yeah.
together.
freaking love when books
I
interact.
told her that.
Yes.
I
I
was
eat that
like,
Yeah.
shit
oh my
up. What?
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're reading King Dynasty, they're gonna they're gonna make like a reference to Frank in there.
Yeah.
Like one of the characters is gonna make a reference to Frank, and Frank is actually gonna get a novella. I haven't started it yet,
Mm.
but Frank is gonna get a novella.
So
Hmm.
Frank's novella started off as a joke, and we
Yeah.
kept joking about it. And I said, I told her, I said, if we don't stop joking about it, you're gonna end up writing it because
And she done wrote Frank a
and
novella.
she's gonna write Frank a novella, and I
Yep.
can't. Oh God, I can't wait.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna be.
excited.
And go
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say I'm so excited. Like y'all don't know how much I loved Frank character, and I was gonna slide in your DMs and beg for like a extended epilogue or something. To whereas, because I know his wife died. And
Hmm.
then like I'm nosy as heck. I know some of these authors be like, this bitch is getting on my fucking nerves. Cause I be wanting to write and be like, so Frank's wife died. Did they live in this house the whole time? When did Lola move in? How did he introduce how did he introduce himself? Like,
Okay,
how did he become
so
so fatherly? Like,
so you're gonna learn about that in book 3. You're gonna learn about that in book 3. Sometimes it's not always what things seem. Yeah, Frank has a whole history. It's great. It's
and the
great.
gun cabinet. And like
Hmm.
Frank is about it. When he came
Yeah.
in the end and he
Yeah.
bust in the door, I was
Yeah.
like, motherfucking Frank.
Yeah, I know. I know. Frank don't play. He don't play at all. And
At
you're gonna
all.
see that in book 2. And he's funny. He's got a sense of humor. Like, he's not, I mean, he just says off the wall stuff and he acts off the wall and everything. But a lot of his you see more of his character in the second book, and just that seriousness and like really what he used to do as a job really comes out. And but book 3, oh, you're gonna see a part of book 3. Like, I cannot wait for book 3. Like, I want book 2. Like, I almost feel like so tempted to just go ahead and publish book 2, just so that like in a few months I can publish book 3, because
Look at
book
me. I'm like,
3,
do it, do it, do
I
it.
know, I know. And book 3 is just like it's some good work. I will say that. I really shocked myself with some of the stuff I write. I really do. Um, and I've had so Tracy, who really helped me with book 1 and book 2. Book 3 is really like an ode to Tracy, I would say. But book 3, I really want people to kind of think about like maybe how they write and how they read. So like for me, I do a lot of plot. Like I have spicy stuff, sure, like in my books, like they're spicy, okay? But I want that story to be just as like titillating as the spice. I don't want you to just like get off on the spice. I want like
All
the
spice and
whole
no
thing.
plot.
Yeah, I want like it's like soup, right? Like the onions is like something, the meatballs is something, like the potatoes is something, like, and it all gets conjured up and it's like a beautiful thing at the end. But that's how I write. No shade to the people who do write smut. I mean, there's a
And I was finna say,
yeah.
sometimes I be liking all smut and no spice, so I ain't gonna even put it out there like I only read
No,
stuff like that.
that's okay. No, you do you. Sometimes you need a good one-handed
But
romance.
sometimes it's good. It's good to get that book that has the layers where it's like, and I know personally I've read books that I thought were going to be all smut, and then there's the layers, and you're like, oh wow, I love the
Mm-hmm.
layers because that's what makes it stick. It sticks with you. Not that smut doesn't stick with you, because it does, but
Yeah.
but the layers really stick with you. And like someone has told SK before, you're building book boyfriends and husbands where you're
Mhm.
looking at them and you're saying, yeah, I would love. Oh my God,
She's setting
yes,
unrealistic
yes,
expectations.
yes. And I
Is
tell
it
people, I
though?
said,
Is it? I don't know.
wait. I tell people all the time. I say, I know on BookTok we're supposed to be like, oh, let's see if I really had that man in real life, I put him in jail. I was like, I don't want to lie to y'all. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would. Yes. Okay. So you stalked me. Well, now you know what I like. So and now you're devoted just to me. So I don't know what to tell you. I
Hmm.
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Listen, I would take a Hudson all day, every day. Give me a
Every day.
Hudson.
Yes. Give
Give me
him
a
here.
Colin.
Yes.
Are we gonna
Yep.
get Hudson's like background of like what
I
happened?
told
Because I
her, girl, I told her, look, I told her, I said, not only should you do it, I said, but you have the perfect name because it's Lola Unmasked, and you could call it Hudson Under the Mask.
ooh,
Hmm.
that's good.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm like, he's always
Hang
trying
on.
to,
We're almost done.
conceal it. And if you go under the mask, you get to see all the dark. I said, I think we're prepared for all the dark. I
And we
wanted to.
keep seeing glimpses of him, and then you keep hinting at stuff that happened in the past, but you don't fucking tell us. I was like,
Yes, I'm
what the
like
fuck
one
happened?
prequel, just one prequel, and you can literally end it with him seeing Lola for the first time, and that would just be like, oh, the psycho.
Wait, so what happened with the last woman he was with? Like, did she leave him? Did she
She
die?
he goes into it. He goes into it with Lola. They have a conversation about it in the
Mhm.
second book.
I was going to say, what book this is?
In the second book, it's in the second
Dude, I'm
book.
gonna need this book.
Yeah, but you
Don't
get
worry.
teased. You get teased. I don't throw it all at you at once, but there is a scene in book two where it's like, I thought I might have went too dark. I was like, geez, like, but Hudson, my character was like, no, that's right. And so I left it at that. And it's
Hmm.
really it's dark. The second book is dark. So you know how there's like some playful moments, there's like sweet moments in Lola 1. I mean, there's not a lot of that in book 2. It really is different. And then in book 3, we kind of transition into we have more of that sweetness and more of that stuff. But like in book 2, like we got to take care of Dominic. So it gets dark, so you're gonna get
Yes,
frustrated, I think.
I'm
yes.
so ready for Dominic to be dealt
Girl,
with.
let
I
me tell
can't
you.
stand his
Let
bitch
me tell
ass.
you. I called her. She can tell you. I called her after reading the first little bit of Dominic. I said, "So, how long we got to deal with him? Because I'm not a fan of him. He got to
Yeah.
And
die.
I want him to die
It's
slowly.
yeah,
I
and
want him to die. Don't
painfully.
make it quick. I want him to
Don't make
die.
it quick.
Wait,
I want him to
girl,
suffer, and I
that is
want
so
every
funny.
detail.
That is so funny. That's why we got the whole Frank novella. Because I tell her all the time. I said, "Let me tell you, your books bring out that side of me." Because in King Dynasty, I was like, her ex has not suffered enough. I feel like he needs to suffer more. I'm like, I feel like more
Her
needs to
ex was
happen.
like a non-issue. He just needed to be removed over to the side. He didn't even need
No,
all that. Now
no, he did.
Dominic got the work. He got
No,
the
I'm
work.
saying Dominic had to be handled in that book. Christopher still needs to be handled. Does not
I know.
pretend like Christopher. We're not gonna skate past the crap that Christopher pulled. Okay, it's still not okay.
But this is where we get the world meshing. You just got to let me
Yeah,
do it. You got to let me do it, Ash.
I was like, I don't know.
So,
I was like,
so, okay. So I can't remember. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but
mm,
Hudson and um, not Dominic, Hudson and Frank have a conversation. It's in book 2. They have I'll give you a little sneak peek. They have a conversation where they discuss what should happen to Dominic. And Frank asks Hudson, he goes, "Have you ever been hunting before?" And Hudson looks at him and he's like, "No, sir." And he's like, "Well," and he was like, "Have you?" And then Frank starts rattling off, 16 bucks in 1996, 32 bucks in 1998, 52 bucks. And,
Not
he
Frank.
starts,
Remember the numbers.
yeah, yeah. He starts rattling them off. And then he goes and he was like, "And you're going to be just fine with $1." So we're going to call Frank's novella is going to have to do something about bucks. So I don't know if we're going to call it Frank's Island of Bucks or something. It's going to have something to do. But Frank is going to be the handler where everyone who's pissed off or they got some issue with whoever they're with, it get dropped off to Frank's Island and Frank takes care of them.
I
yeah,
Yeah.
love it. I
Yep.
freaking love it.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
That
So
was a joke, and now she's making it a reality.
I'm making it a reality. And we're going to see Christopher be dropped off with Frank. Christopher from King's Dynasty.
You know what? I was so concerned. I was like, when I start doing these, I want to give just enough information, but I was like, I know it's going to be spoilers and stuff, but I like how all of these, we're not giving spoilers, but we're giving just enough to,
Yeah.
where you can still enjoy the book if you go and read it. And then once you get to it, hopefully you'll be like, oh, this is what they were talking about. But we
Yeah.
haven't given like any. I was so worried. I was like, are we going to be spoiled? Am I going to be spoiling this for people who maybe want to go and catch it? But I'm loving this direction.
That's why when I do write my books, they're so in depth and they're so detailed, that when I do give you like a couple things, it's not going to feel like, when you read my books, it's really not going to feel like it, because there's so much, there's so many layers to it, that it's what I do give you at the end, it's just going to seem like nonsensical. You know what I mean? So where it may seem like it's a big thing, it's not.
That's like
I want to give y'all one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, come on. Give
I'm ready. Yes.
When she is, I'm not nailed, when she is knifed down to the table.
Yes.
I fucking melted. I melted.
Yes.
Okay. We all, the people be having knife scenes here and there, but girl.
Yeah, that was a pretty.
And then did we get a not safe for work art? Like, did we get that?
Not yet. I listen. It's being commissioned as we speak.
Yeah.
I said, where the fuck am I gonna put this at? Because I got kids and my wife already be my wife already be side-eyeing me on some shit.
Look at it like, what the hell is this?
I said, I'm gonna start reading some girl on girl stuff and getting the art for it. Maybe you will be.
No, girl.
She really gonna be like,
hey, did you get to the girl on girl scene in my other book, the one that I was talking about, The Water Sacrifice? Did you read that?
I did, but which one was the girl with her and her friend?
Her servants.
No, I know what the hell you're talking about. With the
yeah.
Look, my mind like
gotta find it. Hold on, find the file.
When the servant girl, can we call her servant girl? Because people be like,
well, the type of book it is, with kings
when
and things like that.
When the helper girl came in, because bitches be tripping. When the helper girl came in and he was like, dude.
Yeah.
I know my face was red as a tomato.
No, I bet it was. Oh, I bet it was.
I was like, what?
Yeah, girl, that was a pretty spicy book. Yeah.
And in the woods, when they got stopped, and I was like, they finna do this in front of everybody, and he finna take her in front of everybody. But I love listen. Some of this, that's why I don't like reading or telling people that I know, like in the I say in the real world, but like in the real world, what I read, because I love primal play, knife play. And people be like, primal play? What is that?
What is
I'm
that?
like, don't worry about it. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it.
Right.
Because it's gonna take you too far. I'd be like, and when I say stuff like that, they'd be like, what are you reading? I'm like, well, what are you reading that you don't know what primal play is?
My thing is, let me tell you something. I said, before I started this journey of like really reading, I said I did not realize just how vanilla I was until I started reading books.
Like, whoa, people do this.
And then I was like reading things and going, yeah, I find that very attractive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I like that.
I like that.
Man, when I first started reading dark romance,
yes.
First of all, I delved into it at a young age because my uncle's trifling girlfriend, who turned wife, gave me this. I really hope my family don't watch my shit, because I was talking shit on the last one too about, and I spilled some tea that I probably shouldn't have spilled. So I pray my mom and them do not get a hold to these. Okay.
Girl, my mom's reading Lola, and she messaged me, and I said no. I said no. No.
Oh my God.
I said no. That's all I can say is no. Please don't. Please don't read this.
That's what she called. She was like, "Oh my God, yeah, my mother is reading Lola," and I was like, "I'm sorry," and I fell out
And I
laughing.
didn't tell her. She just found, I don't know. I think so Jess, my PA, she posted something on my Instagram, and she didn't realize that when I had been posting stuff on my Instagram, I unclicked for it to be posted over to Facebook because it's my private Facebook. Like with the people I used to go to church with, my grandma, all my family, all my old coworkers, some new coworkers, like so so she saw I had a new release that I've been like trying not to I've been keeping under wraps, because those scenes in that book, I don't want my mom looking at me like it's just weird, like your brain works like this. Yeah, my brain works like this, you know. But the things, and what they do in Lola.
I
So,
just talked about the knife scene.
I know.
mm-hmm.
And
So
that
let
was
me
just
tell you.
one little.
So let me tell you
Yeah.
why I have no sympathy for her.
You don't
This
have
is
no
why.
sympathy for me.
This is why I'll tell you why. I laughed in her. I laughed in her face, and I was a bitch about it,
She
low key.
was.
Because as I started writing, I told her, when I first said, she was like, "You should write, you should write." I said, "I can't." And she was like, "Why?" I said, "Well, first of all, I could never release it under my name." Right. And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "First of all, I don't need people to know, especially in my family, that I have these kind of thoughts." Right? I said, "Because y'all don't understand. They will read the book and be like, Ashley?" And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, yeah." So these are things I
Yeah.
think about. And she,
Mhm.
"Oh, it'll be easy. Everybody does it. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal." But then when her mom starts reading the book, then it's a big deal. I was like, "Oh,
No, let me tell
look
you
at
why
how
I thought I
that
was safe.
feels."
Let me tell you why I thought I was safe, okay? Because she still has not made it past page 39 in the Pain We Nurture.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, she's not going to read anything else. If she's not going to read that one, she's not going to read the other stuff. So I gave myself permission to go full out.
And the
That
sad part
sounded
is it's
so
not.
dirty.
Wait, the sad part
Yes.
is it's really not, because it's still got some kind of hinge to it. Now, when she writes, right now we keep talking about King Dynasty. It's actually at least two books, and the one she has now is The Heir. But when
Mm-hmm.
she writes Despair, that
Oh
is
man,
about to go
despair.
real
That's gonna be
unhinged.
it's gonna be my most unhinged piece of work. It
I'm
is.
just waiting on your mama to get to the part in Lola Unmasked where she in the store and he is watching her shop for her goodies, and she
Yes.
get home and the bag it like what?
I know. Chapter 7. Yeah.
That's chapter
I just
7.
That's chapter 7, yeah.
I just
Hmm.
I want to hear this. I told her I can't wait. I wish I could be a fly on the wall in those text messages.
I'm gonna have to say, hang on, Mom.
Monique,
We got someone that once been dying to
I
hear this
need
conversation.
I
She
gotta
should do a
hear it.
reaction video. I need mama to start
Yes,
recording herself
Oh
reading
my
it.
God. Oh my God.
because this is gonna it's about to go down. It is gonna be a thing because yeah, Sarah can write a
Listen,
thing.
when
Sarah
she
can
get
write a thing.
thank you. When she gets to where Hudson gives Lola her own horse stall in book 2, I'm gonna have to relocate to another country. I'm gonna have to relocate.
Wait, that is so cute that you think that your mother is actually gonna read book 2 after reading book 1.
She might. I don't know.
And
She
maybe
gonna read
maybe
it.
maybe she likes it. Maybe that's why you ain't heard from her. Because I'm sure by now she done got to chapter 7, and she's like, "Wait,
Maybe she closed it up and be like, let me mind my business. Let me let her do what she
She
do.
might. She
or
might. She
or
might.
or is she sitting over there with it wide open
Oh
and
my
going?"
God. Oh my God. Going, I knew there was something wrong with her. I knew it. I
I
knew there
mean,
was
you
something
couldn't have
wrong with
just
her.
pulled it out there. I'm just saying, you didn't pull this out of the air. You know?
No, pulled it out of my imagination,
No,
But
but
I
I'm
will say
saying
this. But I
that
will
sounds
say
good.
this. I haven't read a lot of dark romances, so I felt like when I started my writing journey, I didn't have a lot to pull from, like as far as like inspiration from like other authors and things like that, because like I admittedly admit that I'm not a huge reader. I used to be, but I was so like I was busy with school, grad school, being a homemaker, work, full-time worker, all that stuff. I just didn't have the time. So I went through a lot of, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Like, are people gonna like it? Is it not? I was thinking that like maybe I was writing too tame, like, or is anybody gonna like how I wrote this particular scene? And, I went through a lot of like, and I still do go through imposter syndrome because, everybody compares themselves to other people at some level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through a lot of that, and and I still do. Because I want to be on par, like with my counterparts, but at some point I had to let some of that stuff go because, like, even if like I wrote the way some of these other authors wrote, like, then it wouldn't be me, like I don't want to be them. At the end of the day, I want to be me. So I
Right.
had to let go the fear of like whether I was doing this right or not doing it right or anything. And I figured, I'll find my tribe. Like people will read my books and, either they'll like it or they won't like it. And I'm slowly developing a readership that, I'm really thankful for. I really appreciate, I appreciate everybody's advice, all the support that I get from everyone, even you, even Ashley. Like I can't go one day. I mean, Ashley disappeared for a few hours the other day and I thought my whole
Girl,
world was falling. I thought my
girl,
whole world was falling
I was like, I came back
apart.
to Ashley, and it was spelled all out. I'm like, I'm fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. So,
I was like, Ashley,
yeah. So
but
I told
I,
Child.
her, I always tell her it only takes that one book. I said,
yeah,
because there are authors who I have started reading and I have all their books, but I did not necessarily read their first book until much
mm-hmm.
later. I might have picked up one book from there, fell in love with that one book, and then bought all their books. So I'm like,
That's
all it
me.
takes, yeah,
That's all I
Yeah,
all
was
it
with.
takes is that one book for people to pick up, and it might not be the same one. It might be Lola for someone else. It might be King Dynasty for other people. It might even
mm-hmm.
be something you haven't done. And then they're like, what else has this author written? And
And
Yeah,
go and
now
read
I'm
your whole
buying all of her
catalog.
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
now I'm buying all of her stuff because I like the way she's writing and these characters speak to me. And then especially you connect them. Oh, if you connect them, then I need to know. Oh, you talking about this couple right here? Well, what happened in their story? You
mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah,
you got this.
yeah.
You
Thank you.
Child, when I say I can't wait, because I already got my hands on the Lola Unmasked and the Water
mhm.
Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And the Water Sacrifice, I had to be like,
It was different, wasn't it? It was very different.
it was. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's like, okay, we started out slow and then it started to pick up. And then I was like, oh,
Yeah, and it just kept going and going and going.
yes. And then they was at the water stream, and I'm like, so you just gonna watch her
Yep.
in this? And
Uh-huh.
I could just picture like cause the culture and stuff. So I could just picture like what they were wearing and him just
Mhm.
staring and then him claiming and
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
man,
I worked so hard on that book. Oh my
Him
God. I
claiming
really
and
did.
claiming.
And claiming.
yes.
Yeah.
And claiming.
And
Claiming
claiming
and
and
claiming.
and then for the mama and daddy to slip something in their drink. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what? And the mom was like, oh, we did it. They try to figure out what's going on and stuff. The mom and them like, oh, we did what?
I know.
Y'all the roof at these people drink.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how it was back in the day? There was not all this, they were so free. Like years and years and years ago. I mean, they're so free. They
Mhm.
didn't have all this modesty and all these rules about stuff, and I really tried to emulate that in the book. So so that book
You
is
did, because I felt like I was in that time. I had to go Google some shit. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's
yeah.
okay. Ever since I started reading dark romance, I've had to Google a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A
Like a
lot.
wigwam. I maybe said it wrong. I said, what the fuck is a
A
wigwam? A
wigwam. The wigwam.
wigwam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to go Google, be like, what the fuck is this? And then I was like,
Mhm.
oh.
Yeah. And that was really like I wanted, man, like and that's what I wanted. I wanted people to read something different. And if they didn't know, go Google and maybe learn something that they
I
didn't know
love books
before,
like that.
so,
I love
but
that. I've
yeah,
had to
but
Google.
I'll probably end up, re-releasing that book, when I feel a
But
little bit,
let me tell
better
you,
about it.
I think that the books you write are really great. It does not surprise me that you are a brat. So that's why most of your female characters are brats. Let's
Yeah.
be real, they are. And so that's when you're like, can you believe that I'm a brat? I'm like, yeah, I sure can. That works. But there were things
Oh,
that
hang on. Let's catch her up. We took
okay,
a test. We took
we
a
took a
test to
test.
find out on the spectrum of like what would you call it? Like a BDSM like
BDSM.
Y'all took a
test?
BDSM test?
Yes,
Yes.
we all did. We
Yes.
all took the test.
We all took
And
this.
as we took the test, we realized, okay, so let me explain. So this is how it happened for me, the reason I was interested in it. Because we have this male friend and I jokingly started calling him sir. And then I realized like, and I mean like I would be like, oh, thank you, sir, and stuff like that. And then I realized I kind of liked it. So I was like, I was like, yeah,
Yes.
like I chose Sarah. So I was
I
like,
just sent my results to
yes,
you, girl. You can
What
see
was he
it.
yes.
saying while you were calling him sir?
He allowed me to call him sir, and yeah, I got
Mhm.
good girls, of course. And that's the other thing is this good girl makes me blush. Oh my
Mm.
God. We have a group of narrators friends and they know if they want me to blush, they'll be like, oh, you've been such a good girl. I'm like, stop playing with me. Because my reaction to that. I love being called a good girl. And then like we're just joking. And so it was the three of us and we would all call him different things. Like we had one friend called him Demon Daddy and Sarah would call him, what did you call him, Sarah?
Master Nova.
Master. Yeah, Master. And I would call him Sir. And he actually, before we even took the test, he broke it down, the reason that we did it. And we're
Yeah.
like, damn, I mean, I mean, you're
Y'all
not
finna help me
wrong.
pull out my.
Yeah, I'm like,
Your paper.
you're not wrong. And so then we were talking. He was like, hey, he had talked to my friend, one of our friends, and was like, she had taken the test. Well, then when he talked to me about it, I told them, I'm going to take this test. And then I took the test and I was like, well, dang. And so
it
they were like,
it
oh,
makes
we
a
all
lot of
want to
sense
take the
now.
test.
Yeah, and
And
it snowballed to where like, and I
like,
sent you my results, Lexi. So if you're interested in taking the test yourself, you might
yeah.
learn a
And it's
thing or
not
two.
even, the thing is, it's not even a sexual thing. Some things you were just learning about yourself. Like I ended up getting 91% voyeur. You know what I mean? Like, likes to watch.
I know what a
Yeah.
voyeur is.
And so I realized just even in my everyday, when I'm on YouTube, I like to watch people react to movies. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh dang. And then I got really high in subs. And it was so funny because I was talking to them one day about we have this other friend that's really big, we're like she has a great big personality. And I was telling them, don't worry, I'll get quiet if she does it because I don't want to fight with people over control. I said I'll just let for attention, I'll just let them have it. And I'm going through it and then I stopped and I was like, damn, that's such a sub thing to say. Like I don't let
Yep.
you have it.
So now we all tease each other
So
when we
now we
do
all tease each
something.
other
Yeah,
about
when
it.
we do something that's like, but I understood like even in my everyday life, it's like, man, you're not a bitch. You're just a brat.
You're bratty, yeah. And so it's so
Like-
funny because I'm surrounded by brats and I got 0% brat. So I'm not a brat at all. But what I am is also a brat trainer. I have a little brat trainer in me and I have a little switch in me. So it's a trip because I'll deal with them and so I'll be like, yes, yes, yes. And then there comes a point where I'm like, Sarah, do such and such and such and such. She'll be like, well, damn, that's the switch in you coming out. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I'm sorry. It happens sometimes. A little
Yeah,
little
Oh my
domineering comes
goodness.
out.
it's funny. We just tease each
We just
other.
tease
I
each other
mean,
all
it's
about it.
really,
Yeah.
it's really a lot of fun. I
But I
mean,
realize that a lot of Sarah's FMCs are brats.
mm,
They are when they deal with
they
the
are.
MMC, they're brats. And I'm like, that's just like, can you believe? And we were like, yeah, yeah, we can believe
Yeah, we
that.
can
We're
believe.
used to it.
Yeah, we can believe. Oh my goodness.
So I
I
love
know I
that.
for one I learned a lot about myself and
Hmm.
um and it is nice to have that friend group where you can like authentically be yourself and you don't have to like hide who you are, or maybe because like I wasn't necessarily hiding. I think I just didn't understand a lot of like maybe my personality, and
Hmm.
how that would come across and like why I would say things or do things or whatever. And now they call me out on it every single time. Like a few days ago when I found out that there was a group chat that I wasn't a part of.
Oh my God. So, okay. So, first of all, in our group, there is about what, 6 of us, but I know that we all kind of, you end up breaking off and you're like, oh, we need to talk about this. We go over here to this group chat and we'll
Mhm.
talk about it. And then we need to talk about this. Well, it's seven, I think, now of us. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about this group chat. And so that's even like last night we had a girls chat that was going on while I was in two different chats. While we were in another chat with this one guy,
Yeah.
and then so we're talking about the situation going on. And then sometimes it spills over because we'll say things like I will say things out loud, I'll just be like, no. And the person who messaged will know what I'm talking about, but everybody else will be like, what do you
What are you
mean?
talking
And
about?
I'll be
Yeah.
like, absolutely not.
Did everybody meet on BookTok and just kind of form together?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
girl.
freaking love BookTok can be like the best thing when it's good. Like it's like one of those
Yes.
things when it's good, it's
Yeah.
good.
Oh
And
yeah.
then
Mm.
When it's
of
bad, it's
course, you
bad.
know,
Yeah. And I love our diverse group because you have your narrators, you have your readers, and you have your
Mhm.
narrators. So we have narrators that get on and they do, they do, they're fun and everything.
Yeah,
They have
like
a lot of
I think I
personality.
sent you that poem and one of the women narrators
you did.
yeah, one of the women
Hmm.
narrators and we all do our best to support each other. I mean, I used to be real deep into poetry and I broke off. I stopped, writing altogether. And then when I got back into writing, it was books. And now I'm starting to get back into poetry. And so, um, the narrators will be like, well, I'll read your poem or I'll read your poem. And so like, we all kind of like, it's like we're scratching each other's backs, like
Yeah.
I give you pieces to narrate, you get it out there and,
Yeah.
you bring my piece to life and I get to see that and everything. And it hits so different. Like it's one thing to write it down on like a piece of paper, but it's a whole nother thing to see it brought to life.
Yeah. And
I
the thing
cried.
about it, what I love about this is it's never anyone taking advantage of each other. So
Yeah,
even
no.
that, when she's saying I'll do that, so then we all discuss money with each other about different things. And I
Mhm.
Hmm.
love when we have those times that we're saying, okay, well, give me this so I can send you money. And they're like, no. And we're like, what do you mean no? Like,
What
no,
do you
you're
mean
gonna
no?
give me that. No, and they're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to. And it's like, but you are. And so that it'd be fight over who's gonna be. They're
We
like, you
literally
don't need to
fight.
give me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to give me money. I think one time I did. I was like, hey, because one of our narrators, he also plays the guitar, and he's going on
Mhm.
live, and we were encouraging him, ask for it because you are good. So if people want requests, tell them
Yep.
send you something to get them used to doing it. So I was like, hey, can you sing the song? And I sent him the song, and I was like, and give me your cash app. And then he responds, he goes, oh yeah, I'll do that song and I'll loan that song. And I'm like, okay, that's wonderful. Give me your cash app. Right.
But he
And
didn't
he
real.
kept
But
going.
she didn't realize I had this cash
Yeah,
app.
he kept going. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I want it. And he kept like ignoring. And I'm
The
like, give
cash up
me
part.
your cash
Yeah.
app.
Yeah.
Right. And so finally Sarah is on the phone with me and she goes, I have his cash app. And I go, never mind. I got it.
We all try. I mean, we try our hardest to support each other, and sometimes that means money, and sometimes it means making videos
Yeah.
and reposting, and going over into like book groups and like posting your work and things like that. But our network is so it's so supportive. Like we have a woman on TikTok. Her TikTok handle is Nugget and Thorn something. There's like something at the end that I can never
I
remember.
can't think.
And
Yeah.
she has these events where she gets the narrators and the authors together for like little snippet pieces. So she just did a 24-hour TikTok, live TikTok
Crazy.
where narrators and authors, and it was a huge undertaking. Narrators and authors got together and got to hear their work spoken. And then all the gifts, there was like giveaways, there was donations. She did this for charity, and she's going to be doing another event for Halloween. And so I'm going to be writing a Halloween, like a Halloween piece that's going to be narrated as well. And then I think she's going to be doing another one for Christmas. And
Yeah,
then
she got
she's
another one for
actually,
Christmas.
yeah, and then she's actually hosting a convention in 2026 called Nugget Con. So we're all going to be going to Florida. I've already put my deposit down on a table. And as far as I know, that's going to be my first book signing, is in Florida in 2026.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But next year, me and Jess and Ashley have been planning a sort of like a bookish retreat where we all kind of get to meet each other, and we're thinking about trying to get into some bookshops, do some signings if that works out. But we're trying to plan that for next year. And
You
I
Yeah.
guys
think
should look at the book hotel. Have y'all heard of the book hotel?
Mm.
no,
You have to go. They're on Instagram and they're on TikTok. I'm gonna tag you in it, and
yeah,
it's like a
okay.
little It almost looks like a B&B, a bed and breakfast, and it's like
Oh,
book inspired.
okay.
The
Where is
rooms
Mm.
are.
it?
I want. Is it in Tennessee? Or is it in Pittsburgh? It's in Tennessee or Pittsburgh. I had screenshot it
Oh,
because I told my wife, I said I'm gonna send it to my wife and ask her for a little retreat there, so I can do some
oh,
content and stuff there. Or she can, of
yeah.
course, she can come with me. But it's so freaking cute. But
Oh
it's
my
like a book
goodness.
hotel, like a book little
Mm.
B&B,
Okay,
a
okay.
bed and breakfast.
I know you said you're gonna send it to me, but I'm gonna write it down too. But yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, that was like my little way of inviting you if you want to come next year.
Yeah,
No,
because
no
we're
pressure, no
no pressure.
pressure. But
We're just all
yeah.
going to. Okay, so it is a bookish retreat, but really it is our chance. Well, some of us only live 45 minutes away from each other, so they've seen each other. I'm not bitter at all about that. Not at all.
Yeah.
I hope they see this and they know that I am bitter about it because they keep bringing it up. They keep bringing it up every 15 minutes, and they only live 35 minutes away from each
Some
other.
of us are
Anyway,
salty that some of us get to meet each other before other people.
yes,
Now, when
but
Jess
some of
asked
them
me
she
to
means
come
me.
up there, yeah, and when Jess
She
asked
means
me
me.
to come up there maybe to see her, I was like, "Oh,
I
you're
was
only
like,
11 hours away.
I
I
was
think I
like,
can do that in the
no,
car." And
hell
Jess is like, "No,
no.
you can't. No, you're not going to go see her." I was
You're
like, "Well,
not.
damn."
I said, you will not go see her. I don't think so. Yeah, hell no.
Shoot.
I'm
Y'all
actually,
leave
oh,
me
you
all
said,
the way.
I was going to say, I don't know why I keep thinking you live in Tennessee, girl. I'm about to say, I think you're super close to me. I can come see you, but nah,
Yeah,
you live in
don't
Louisiana.
know.
That's a bit far.
But yeah, so
That's a
we're
bit far.
really, it's
Where are you,
really a
Sarah?
chance.
St. Louis.
St.
St. Louis. I've
Hmm.
drove to St. Louis before. Oh, that's another story. That's a trip.
That was a
All
trip.
those little drops and those uh
Oh,
Oh
yeah, that
yeah.
sounds horrible. That sounds
Oh yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
No. So our
the curbs.
it
The
really
country.
is going to be it next year will really be a chance for us all getting together in person and act the way we act. That's why if you see us and we're talking about and we're acting crazy, this is the way we are now. Like Sarah was saying, it's not so much that you can't be yourself is you're unfiltered. You know,
That
with them you
part.
can be unfiltered. I don't have to say, hey, if I say this, will people get upset? Which also
Hmm.
kind of spills over into our everyday world because someone asked me, hey, have you had something delicious to eat on? And I paused. Have you had something delicious to eat? And I paused. And I was on the call with them, and I say, see, I know how I would answer it if it was y'all. And I was like, but I can't answer it like that with this person. Because we was like, girl, I told someone if everybody ever got a hold of our messages, they would be
Oh
like, what is
no.
wrong?
Oh my
They'd be like,
God.
what is wrong with
We
them?
would be in so, oh my
That's
God.
why I say I keep my real world people from my book world people, because
Yes.
if someone was to tell you about me in the real world, they'd be like, well, the people who don't really know me, who meet me in passing, or some clients, they'll be like, oh, she's so quiet. You never know she's in a room. She's always on her phone. I'm always on my phone reading. People just assume that I'm doing business, but I be on my phone reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But the people who know me know I have like no filter. Like you literally never know like what's gonna come out my mouth.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You got to watch out for us quiet girls. I tell you what,
You
people, when they
are
look at me,
not
they would
quiet.
never,
What do you mean, us
not with
quiet
you,
girls?
not with you, but in my real
Us
life, I'm like,
quiet
I
girls.
am. I'm shy. I'm like really just like I keep to myself, so it's all
Yeah.
good. Y'all, my mom just sent me I got so confused and scared. You know how I got so good. She said, "You're going to jail." And I was like, oh,
Like
Like
what
she
you didn't
back
got
to the
wind of that I
she didn't
did.
go to the chapter. She
like
didn't go to
why?
it.
Like I'm sitting here thinking, what
She finally got to the chapter. You going to jail? Yeah.
did I do? Mm-mm.
Yeah,
My
it's
mom is so
okay.
funny. My mom is so funny. But moms can give you that panic, can't they?
Yes, of course they
Whew.
can. That's what their job is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My mama told
Yeah.
me when she had messaged me and she was like, hey, I found you on TikTok. And I was like, which one? She was like, you got more than one? I said, well, which one did you find me
Girl, which
on?
one did you find?
So
You
Girl,
gave
you
yourself
sound like
away.
me. You sound
Dang.
like me. You sound like me.
she
Oh
found me
my
on my other one.
God.
So when
Yeah.
I went and looked at her name, when I went and seen her, I accepted her on my Alexis Sherrill, my business, my spa one. But on my
Uh-huh.
Alexis Between the Lines, I went and blocked her.
You blocked her.
Yeah, girl, I learned how to block. My godmother is following me on my other TikTok, and I call that my family page because it just, I talk about my kids. You might see my kids, you know what I mean? But when I
Mm-hmm.
get over on my BookTok page, it's thirst
She's
traps
doing
and stuff like
she's
that.
doing the 30, is it 30 or 31 thirst traps of
Right
September?
now, I'm just gonna call it Thirst Trap September because I had gotten all these thirst traps, and what I noticed is when I react to them because I have that quick wit on the thing, people
Mm-hmm.
like them.
Yeah.
So I was like, since I have all these thirst traps, I'm just gonna spend all September reacting to them
Girl, she got some good ones
every
too. She
day,
got some
every day.
good ones.
Girl, the last
I'm gonna
one
have
I
to go and
read,
watch.
girl, you should.
Yes.
You watch. I sent them to one of my friends, and she was like, "Girl," she said, "How do you think?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I literally just turned on the camera." They were joking with me because they were like, they watched me make a TikTok. Like I put them on my iPad, and I have my phone set up with my ring light, and they sat there and watched me just do it like that. And they were like, "How do you do that?" I said, "Because I don't care what comes out of my mouth when I'm on TikTok. What they gonna do? What they gonna
Nothing.
do?"
Not a thing.
Which
But
is
filter
also
you
the
sometimes.
reason.
Sometimes TikTok be
Yeah,
hating and they
sometimes,
will
Oh, they
filter
sometimes.
you.
do. Oh, they
But
do.
I tried. That's
Absolutely.
why I use TikTok appropriate words, and I found ways around it. Oh yes, Sarah laughed at me when I was like, "If he's gifted," and she was like, "No, you didn't say gifted." I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, I was trying to think, and that was the best word." But that is also why when my godmother found that page, I was like, "Block, block, block. You can't be on this page. Nope,
Mm-mm.
can't be on my book talk because
At all.
I don't filter myself here. I don't. I go for it. If it looks, if you put one of them, the guy put he did the And I was like, if you need a neck for that necklace, I volunteer as tribute. I
Oh my goodness.
do.
Oh my goodness. It's
Volunteerist.
I
she
volunteer as
volunteers.
tribute. Yes,
Volunteers
I
as tribute.
volunteer as tribute. You need a
Mhm.
neck for that necklace? I got one right here. There it is, right there.
Oh my goodness. Her TikToks are so much fun. I don't do
Ash,
TikToks like that, but I try, but I'm not near as confident yet.
it, Ashley, where can we find these TikToks? Give us the info.
All right, my TikTok name is Amazing, which is just my name. So my name is Ashley Mays, and we were joking around one day, and I was like, Ashley Mays, A Mays, and so I just
Mhm.
put A Mays and then ing reader 85. So Amazing reader 85. You'll find me on TikTok, and you will see all the craziness that is me. It is one take. You might hear me stumble over words. I will take pauses, especially when I'm trying to describe things in books. And like you said, be TikTok appropriate. I
Mm.
have used things because I've been trying to figure stuff out, girl. If I don't understand it, I don't understand it. So I get on there, I'm like, hey y'all, I don't understand this. Explain this to me. And people are
Mm.
like, oh, I got answers. And I'm like, do you though? Because I don't think you do. So this is just my personality, which is ironic because, like everyone says, I'm not quiet. Like if you met me just on the street, I would sit back and let you talk. I would sit back and let you, you know what I mean? But when I
Mm-hmm.
turn on that camera and I press record, you get this,
That's what you
Yeah,
this
get.
full
she a whole
personality. You get this,
she a whole different beast. She
yes,
a whole different beast. And you can find me at SK Presley Author on TikTok
yes.
and Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, if you find one of us, just go in the comments and you'll find the other one.
You'll find the
The
other
whole
one.
tribe.
You'll
Yeah,
find the
you'll find
whole,
the
yeah,
other
you'll
one.
find
Yeah,
all nine,
just
10. I
go
don't even
through.
know how many of us
Yeah,
now.
yeah, just go through the thing, and then Presleyland on Discord. If you are joining, you join Presleyland on Discord, and we keep
Yeah.
it popping over there. With our songs of the days and our
Hmm.
selfie brags and our
We
just
have a good time.
said. Yeah, we have
Yeah, I
we
know.
have fun over there. Yeah, so
It's
please
ran by
join.
it's ran by a pretty stringent, amazing
Yes,
PA, but she keeps us all in
yes.
line over there.
She keeps us
Even
all,
me,
everyone,
even though it's my
everyone,
server, I gotta
anyone.
go underneath Jess. I'm not even she the main
Yeah.
one.
And we all
So
try to test her because I do. You'll see things that she'll be like, really, really, like in our song of the day, it's one song per day because we didn't want people just flooding it out.
spam it. Yeah.
And and I was like, I'll do things like, well, technically it's 4 a.m. in London, so I'm putting a new song
So I can put the song
down.
up and it'll get deleted. It'll get
It'll get
deleted every time.
deleted.
It'll
Yeah.
get deleted. You can put it up. It'll get deleted
Yeah,
though.
it'll get deleted. And she's not playing. She doesn't play. That's why we have just said. Be
That's
like,
why
well,
we have
just
just
said.
said.
Just
Yep.
said you couldn't have it. It couldn't be it.
I hate that she couldn't join us today.
I
I
know.
know. She wasn't happy about that, trust me.
Yeah.
We're
But
gonna have to do another one and bring her back.
Oh,
we
yes.
can.
So you
Yeah,
can
we
get the
can. One
full force of it.
where I'm not choking half to death at the at the
I'm
beginning.
not even going to comment on that. I'm not walking through that door.
Come on, Ashley.
No, I'm not. I promise to be a good. Chris is the one that walks through doors. I don't have to walk through every door.
I know it. I know it. But you guys,
So
I'm gonna have to call it quits. It's been fun though.
yeah,
It
it
has.
has
I
been
thank you guys for joining us and for joining me
anytime.
and coming
Anytime.
today.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for
This
having
is
me.
great.
you are welcome. Until next time, we hope that you subscribe and that you follow and make sure that you are following SK Presley and Amazing Reader 85.
Yes.
And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.